good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It's the Audrey Wiggins Show.
Morel Insurance Group. Contact us today for auto, home, life, business, health, Medicare, long-term care. Morel Insurance Group, 440-232-9041 or Janet at HorrellInsuranceGroup.com. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Audrey Wiggins, and welcome to another webisode of the Audrey Wiggins Show. We have our guest today is Miss Tina Hobson, and she is an all-about entrepreneur and public speaker. We're going to learn more about her. I'm going to give a little short information from her bio, and welcome Tina to the show.
Audrey, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yes, good morning. Okay, well, she is a two-time international best-selling author. Tina speaks publicly and advocates for women's rights, including prevention of drug abuse and domestic violence, which is a hot topic, really, I think, all around the world. She believes that her deliverance from alcohol and drugs is the greatest asset she has to offer the world. Tina is presently the hostess of I Am a Superwoman radio show. She's a licensed social worker and the CEO of Tina's Glory Hair, LLC. Tina is also an officer with Toastmasters International, and she believes that with hard work, tenacity, and above all, having faith, and the provider of all things are possible. All right, Tina.
Okay. Who was that lady you
I know.
Okay.
A few words with some deep information.
Wow.
So I'm glad you're here to share with us today. I know you brought your latest book, and just tell us a little bit about who Tina is, aside from the words in her bio. I'm sure there's some more stuff that you can fill in the gaps a bit. We'll hear from Tina Hobson on the other side of this message. Power of branding. Logo, slogan, colors, website, customer service, product experience, company values, and you. Make a touchdown with your branding today with Altogether Marketing. Visit altogether.biz.
There's a lot, but most of all, Tina is a person who cares. With all the accolades, with all the licenses and the authorship and the hair company and all of that other stuff, my greatest challenge, no, I'm not going to call it a challenge, but my greatest volunteer work, and I do volunteer work also, is writing the birthday cards every month for the patients in Warrensville at the Center for Dialysis Care.
Wow.
Every month I sit back, and as I'm addressing the cards and writing a little personal note, I can imagine in my mind the smiles on their faces, because in a lot of cases that card might be the only one that they get.
Okay, so a lot of times I think we forget that as we run through our life and our busy days. We think about our relatives. Maybe they were fortunate to have us or someone else to come by, but a lot of times that people are in homes, nursing homes, or like you say, on their dialysis, and there's no one there, for them.
Absolutely.
So I think that's an awesome volunteerism. It's almost like a ministry.
It
absolutely you minister
is.
to a person's heart and their soul. But you also brought your book today.
Yes,
Tell
I
us
did.
about,
Yes, I did.
Your book.
Audrey, I am so godly proud of this book. We were talking earlier, and I mentioned getting a second win, God allowing me a second opportunity. Well, He's given me millions of opportunities to get my life right. And this book is telling all about me.
Okay.
It's a biblically based book. Each reflection starts with a daily scripture. And the body of the book talks about my journey, my struggles, my life as it pertains to drug and alcohol addiction, prostitution, suicide attempts, neglecting and abandoning my children, things that I'm not proud of, but they happened.
Right.
They happened, and I was convinced that my story was worth telling. I had told it in different 12-step organizations and things like that, but to bring it out all the way out of
That's
the closet into the public.
That's
It was
right.
kind of scary.
Yeah, God bless you. Life's journey, and the title of the book is "Oh How
Oh, how
He
He
Loves
loves
Me."
me. Reflections of God's love for me and for you.
Mhm.
So the story is about me. The story's every reflection is about me, but it pertains to everybody. I am every woman. You know, I have my radio show, I Am a Superwoman. I am every woman who has been abused, neglected, who has been involved in drug trafficking, human trafficking, prostitution, any woman who has attempted or even thought about attempting to commit suicide because they just thought there was no more hope. There was no more help.
Yes.
Nobody loves me. God doesn't love me. Why am I here?
Right.
I can remember the last thought that I had before going actually into a mental institution because I had lost my mind.
Oh,
I had
yes.
truly lost my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But the last thought I had on November the 1st, 1989 was a feeling of being unnecessary.
That's deep. That's low. That's low.
Unnecessary. Just, what you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
You not, don't nobody love you. You can't do nothing for anybody else. You might as well end it all.
Yes.
But God had other plans.
Yes, He did.
He had other plans.
Right, because there's so
He
many
loves
other
me.
women and young men that you need to help save.
Absolutely.
And your story, your experience,
Absolutely.
horrific as it was for a greater purpose.
Yeah.
To whom much is given, much is required. And we don't always want to think about the requirement to be, such a tragic life.
It was ugly.
Yeah, yes. Ugly,
was
painful,
ugly.
anything, any negative, adjective that you can use. But on the flip side of that, there was some sunshine.
I'm still standing.
Yes.
I'm still
Yes,
standing.
Yes.
And I believe, no, I don't believe, I know that I'm a living testimony. This book it gave me freedom. It gave me freedom. Somebody asked me once, why do I write? Or why did I write this book? I said, because it's therapy. Even if I didn't sell a copy,
Right.
even if it never got published, edited, it was still therapy for me to get all of those sometimes suppressed feelings and sometimes suppressed thoughts up and out.
Yes.
Because you can be incarcerated without being behind the jail cell.
That's right.
You know,
Absolutely.
you can be locked up in your mind. And until this book came out, until I started really getting serious about writing this book, there was still an element of me being locked up. You know, I had been to jail before, but a couple of days here, a couple of days there.
Nothing
I
compared
was
to the
just tired. I was
consolation
tired of running.
Yes.
So come on, take me.
Right.
Come out.
Mhm.
Didn't mean anything, so I would do the same things all over again. But today my life is so different. I like me today. And it's a big difference between liking and loving me.
Yes.
Every day I don't like me.
Mhm.
Every day I love me,
Mhm.
because I know God is love and God is in me. But to like me,
Mhm.
okay, to look in the mirror and say, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? I can actually look back and say, it's me. Who do you think?
Yes.
You know?
And so that's your message,
Yeah.
for your readers and for the listeners today.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Being able to reflect back
Mhm.
and see how far God has taken me.
So for the person who's there right now, they're in the midst of all the suicide thoughts and the drugs and alcohol and giving their bodies away or selling them for little of nothing and giving the monies to pimps
Yeah.
because they just don't feel worthy or they're afraid to get out. What's your message?
Don't give up. Never ever feel that you're alone, because that poem, Footprints in the Sand, is my favorite. When there was only one set of footprints, that was when he carried me. Things might look down and out. You might have gone down as low as you thought that you could go. But if you've got one breath left, just one,
Yeah.
just one, you still got a chance. There's a chance to come back up, to bring it back up, to shine. I've got a new slogan, it's never too late to be great.
Amen.
It's never too late to be great. I'm a 2-time author. Who would have thought it?
That's
I was undereducated, homeless, destitute, just plain dis. And it wasn't always other things that people did to me. I made choices.
Yeah. Yes,
Unfortunately, I made a
do.
lot of bad choices. When I told God in 1966 that, well, since you don't love me, you took the one person that I love the most, I'm going to run this myself.
Mm.
That was not the right thing for me to say, because he let me.
Yes.
He let me.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yes.
he finally got sick and tired of me being sick and tired of me. And he said, okay, it's time for this to stop. So it was November the 1st, actually, 1989, that I surrendered. I surrendered.
Now, how did you
all.
really get to that point where you just sitting on the couch and, you know, the thought came to you? Was it some events leading up to that, someone reaching out or helping to pull you, or was it just
Somebody
totally spiritual?
prayed for me.
Okay.
Somebody prayed for me. Grandma prayed. Mama prayed. It wasn't it wasn't a pretty picture. I wasn't sitting on the couch in my home. I had lost it. I was living actually in the back of a Boxes Plus store where I used to say I worked at, but I didn't work there.
Yeah.
I put the money. I sold the products, put the money in the cash register, only so I could steal it back out and go get high. This gentleman, Bart Ainsley, I will be forever grateful for him. He lives in Seven Hills, Independence. He was the owner of the store, and he happened to be a member of the 12-step program. And every day, Audrey, every single day, he would ask me, do you think you got a problem? I'm like, who, me? I don't have a problem. So one day he asked me, do you think you have a problem? Yes, I've got a problem. You keep asking me, do I have a problem? You're my problem. But even with that, every day after work, well, he wasn't there every day, but every day that he was,
Yes.
at the end of the day, he said, let's pray. Thank God his prayers were sincere. My prayers was, I wish she'd leave me alone so I could go get high. So I can get in the cash register and do what I do. But the prayers of the righteous availeth much.
Yes.
And he was sincere. He prayed me not where I wanted to be, not into a mental institution, but he prayed me into salvation. He prayed me into a place where I was safe.
Okay.
I felt comfortable for once in my own skin, even around other people that, of course, I'm arrogant and how dare I be in a mental institution, in a crazy house. I'm not crazy.
Right.
But Audrey, I was wearing my grandmother's hair. I might have weighed 100 pounds.
Wow.
These big raccoon circles around my eyes. Didn't have any place to live. I was homeless. Had one car payment left on my car. They repossessed it.
Wow.
I mean, I was where I needed to be.
While you were talking, you said you lost someone. Is that when the down spiral began? And who was that you lost?
Absolutely. I was raised by my aunt and uncle in Chicago. I always knew my mom. Still love my mom. My mom's 80 years old. My stepdad's 90. We really have a wonderful relationship today. But I was raised by my aunt and uncle because Mom just felt that was the best place for me.
Okay.
I didn't care about that being the best place for me then. I was a little girl.
Yes.
I wanted my mommy. Didn't know who my daddy was, so I was pissed off. I was very, very angry child. But my aunt, she loved me anyway. She loved me anyway. She was there for me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. When I scraped my knee, she was there. My first day of school, she was there. She cooked my favorite food. You know, she just loved me unconditionally. And in February of 1966, she passed away.
And how old were you when she
I was 12. I was with no concept of death, of loss. I didn't know anything. And of course, in those days, the child was to be seen and not heard. Couldn't ask any questions, couldn't say I felt anything, not even knowing what I felt. But I know today I felt lost because I can remember just sitting back, watching everybody, you know, drinking, talking, having a good time, reminiscing, but nobody's talking to me. Nobody's saying anything to me. Nobody's asking me how I felt. That was my best friend.
Yes.
That was my,
She was your rock then.
she was my everything.
Yeah.
She was my everything.
And that's and their line is in another message as well. You know, to pay attention and listen to our young people.
Absolutely.
So watch them, closely. Because there's a lot going on. Like you see a lot, like you say, you can see a lot, you're feeling stuff, you're confused, but you don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
So you can't express it, and there's nobody that you can go to.
And you saying that, I can totally identify with today's gangs, because gangs aren't new.
Right.
Okay, I got caught up in the gang life, the stealing, you know, the promiscuity, all of that, the drinking, the cutting school, all of that, right at that time. The teachers didn't see it,
Right.
or they weren't paying any attention. You know, my mom was called in. I was still not asked, what in the heck's wrong with you? You know, what's going on? I was just told that I was bad.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
I was bad.
That's
See.
empty.
So that didn't make me feel any better.
Right.
So I said, well, you think I'm a bad person? I'm gonna show you just how bad I am.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's another thing of making labels without explaining what's how to act or what to do.
Yeah.
So where and how can we get in touch when we get your book?
Yes, I am. Oh, I'm so proud of that book. I am really, really proud. My book, Oh How He Loves Me, Reflections of God's Love for Me and for You, is available on Amazon.com.
Okay.
Just go to Amazon.com, type in my name or Oh How He Loves Me. The beautiful picture will pop right up.
Since this recording, Tina has published another book, DNR, Do Not Resuscitate. You've breathed your last breath. 10 critical traits I will not tolerate any longer. Also available on Amazon.com. It is pretty cover.
And I do have copies available on hand, so they can be purchased through PayPal. Just PayPal me at arthur.tina.hobson@gmail.com. I'll send you an invoice, copy your book in the mail, personally autographed, like I just autographed this one for you.
I thought this was a prop.
No, that's a gift from me
Thank you.
from me to you,
Thank
because
you.
I really am appreciative of this opportunity to be on your show, to talk about my book, to talk about me, and to hopefully help somebody.
Absolutely.
Somebody. But the saying is, if I didn't help anybody else, I helped myself.
And that's enough.
Okay.
That's enough. God bless you.
Oh, I love you. I love you so
Awesome.
much.
Thanks again, Tina. So
Thank
we're
you.
grateful that Tina Hobson came by today. Please get her book, log on, and if you do know anyone who can benefit from this book, give it as a gift and begin to be more aware of what's going on in young people and the middle-aged and older folks too, because pain doesn't know a generation.
It doesn't.
Yes,
It's not
and
prejudice
there's
at
always
all.
time for healing as long as we're breathing. You take care.